Welcome back to the Corner Post Podcast, episode number 12. Hope you guys are all doing well on this Tuesday evening. It is 6:30 p.m. here in New South Wales, January 30, 2024. And we're back for the second podcast of the year. And as always, we are joined by co-host of the podcast, Codys Footy World. How are you, Cody?
I'm doing very well, Nick, on this very warm Tuesday afternoon. But other than that, it's good to have the podcast back for the second week in a row.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. Obviously, it's a big podcast tonight. We're going to be starting the NRL season previews. We're going to be previewing 4 teams tonight for the upcoming 2024 NRL season. Since we both have already done our ladder predictions, we're going to start with the season previews in each part. So part 1 tonight, part 2 next week, part 3 the week after, then obviously on the part 4. So plenty to talk about. If you're new around here, guys, don't forget to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that. And if you're a regular viewer that's always here, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day or night to watch the content. And thank you for watching as always. Hello to everyone that is in the live chat. As you know, the usual crowd. We got Jim, Jason, Josh, CJ, Viking, SS Storm fan, Luke Melbourne Storm fan, William Pearson. I can see we got the regular crew in here. Hope everyone is doing well. All right, Cody, episode 12 of the podcast. Let's get things underway, shall we?
Yep, let's go.
And we're going to start off with some breaking news that was broken yesterday out of the Bulldogs and the Dragons. The Dragons have signed Raymond Fatala-Mariner for 2 years, a 2-year deal for RFM, Raymond Fatala-Mariner, who was actually appointed the Bulldogs captain last season. Obviously had a few issues with injury, and there were rumors of him leaking stuff out from the Dogs. Again, it's only rumors. You can't blame him for that. It's just rumors, I suppose. But do you think this is a great signing for the Dragons, or do you think it's an average signing? What's your take on it?
It's a good pickup for the Dragons. I mean, FMR wanted, RFM, sorry, he wanted to leave the Dogs after all the stuff that's been happening in the past few months. But good pickup. No, Dragons need some talent in the back row there, but it's a great pickup nonetheless, and I think he will do well at the Dragons.
I don't know if they needed talent for the back row. They've got Dan Russell, who had a really good year last year. Both of the Couchman brothers can play back row. You got Jaden Sewer, who's a very established second rower. Jack Bird, who can also play there as well. But I think they were after a guy like Fatala-Mariner who can play a bit of lock forward, bit of back row as well. So, look, I think it's a decent pickup for the Dragons. The Bulldogs, look, they tried to offload him a while ago, but they couldn't do it. Everyone was like, why would you try to get rid of your captain? Again, getting rid of Fatala-Mariner is a bit of a weird look because he is the captain. He was the captain of the Bulldogs. So the direction the Bulldogs are going, you sort of shake your head and you're like, you don't know what's going on down there behind the scenes. But I think it's a decent signing for the Dragons. I don't think it's going to change the club or make them any better, but I think he'll bring a lot of qualities to the Dragons, and the Dragons need all the qualities that they can get, can't they?
Yes, and they've got very little at the moment.
Yeah, they haven't got a lot of quality at the moment about them, so I think this is a nice little pickup for the Dragons. I'm not sure if he'll start at the Dragons either. I know the Dragons are a bit low on forwards. I'm not sure if he'll be starting, but I think he'll definitely be in the 17. He might be on the bench. Could start. I'm not sure. What do you reckon? You reckon he'll start or come off the bench?
Yeah, I think they'll start him on the bench to start off with.
A- All right, I might go the opposite. I reckon he might start. I reckon he might start in the back row, but not a
Yeah,
bad little
yeah.
buy there for the Dragons. Moving on to some news that broke 2 days ago. Tom Dearden and Ruben Cotter named the Cowboys captains. So obviously co-captains. Tom Dearden, Ruben Cotter. Obviously, they've made the big decision to um, take the captaincy off Jason Tamalolo and Chad Townsend. Now, some were surprised by this. I was a little bit surprised that Tamalolo stood down from captain, but I feel like Tamalolo's at the point of his career now where he doesn't need all that extra pressure on him. Because if when you're the captain of an NRL club, if you're going down with injuries all the time, or not, or just injuries in general, um, the pressure is quite ridiculous. So Tom Dearden and Ruben Cotter are now the captains. I think it's a really good move from the Cowboys. I think Todd Payton's made some big decisions here. What's your take on this whole situation?
Yeah, this came out as surprising, but I think it's actually great that they have younger players being co-captains. I wasn't expected to be co-captains, but good on them. Yeah, I think Townsend it's his last year, possibly, and as for Tom Malolo, yeah, so surprised, but his career's winding down, bit injury prone recently, and yeah, it's just great to have Cotton and Steeden for captains. I think they'll bring a lot of great leadership towards the Cowboys this year.
Well, I think what the Cowboys are doing, I think what Todd Payton's planning up in Townsville is he's building to the future. He's building to the future. Dearden is he just re-signed on a big deal. Ruben Cotter's on contract for a while as well. I think he's just looking to the future. I feel like Cotter, Dearden, two guys that want to be at the Cowboys, both from Mackay, both have been playing Townsville Rugby League pretty much their whole career up there in North Queensland. So I think it's great for the club, and I think it's a really good decision. Um, I think it's good for Tamalolo as well, Cody, because now Tamalolo can just focus on playing footy. Doesn't have to worry about being the captain anymore. I think he can just focus on himself, right?
Yeah, that is right.
And Chad Townsend, obviously, he's off contract at the end of this year. There has been a few reports that his manager wants him to re-sign. I don't think the Cowboys will re-sign Chad Townsend unless he has an incredible season. But we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't re-sign him. I'd be looking to the future, and that's what the Cowboys seem to be doing, looking to the future. Um, Still good to have experience around the club, but you got to build within and look to the future, I reckon. So good decision from Todd Payton up there at the Cowboys.
Yep.
Moving on, Cody, is there a problem with the All Stars game? Is there a problem with the All Stars game? Now, just quickly, I know you go to the live chat, fellas. We're here for the podcast. We're talking rugby league. I don't really give a shit about cricket. I don't know why there's cricket even being talked about in the live chat. Can we please talk about the footy and not cricket? This is not the cricket podcast. Now, moving on. Cody, is there a problem with the All Stars game? Now, you would have saw the news today that Newcastle Knights fullback Kalen Ponga is not going to be participating in the All Star game. And a lot of it has to do with Adam O'Brien and the Newcastle management that they just want him to focus at club level. Do you think big name players pulling out of the All Star game is going to affect the match itself?
Yeah, what Ponga said in regarding this, I think it should not be a problem. I mean, big time players should play for the All Stars game that occurs every year. I mean, for him to say that, it's just not right. But it's to represent your country or
Heritage.
represent your heritage, yes. But I don't see a problem with the All Stars game. I mean, it's one of the great games to look forward to start pretty much kick off the season.
I think the All Star game is one of the most emotional games that we have on the rugby league calendar simply because there's a lot of Maori players that are very passionate. They will have, tears in their eyes. They're so happy and grateful that they're representing their culture. But then you got the other side of it where are players playing for the jersey or are they just playing because it's another game? Like, the All-Star game has always been a big game, but for some reason, the last couple of years, so many big name players have pulled out because the NRL coaches are scared they're going to get injured in the match and then they're going to miss the start of the season. Well, that's the risk you take because big name players get injured all the time. I mean, you can get injured at training, you can get injured at preseason training, you can get injured in a trial game. Players need their fitness as well. So, like, I can understand the NRL coaches being a little bit concerned, but you can't hold them back. If they want to represent their culture, they're going to do it. Like, for example, Latrell Mitchell missed like 12 games last year. He missed like 2 or 3 months straight. But I guarantee you, if he was able to play, he would have. And like, if the All-Star game was there, he would have tried to come back for it. Like, Latrell Mitchell was probably going to be another player that I'm thinking on the top of my head. Jason Demetrio might not want him to play the All-Star game because he's scared he's going to get injured. Same with other players, not just Latrell, but just in general. So, anyone can get injured at any time. I say just let them play. Don't hold them back. You can't hold players on a leash. If they want to play, you got to let them play.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's not up to the coach to decide if they want to play or not. It's the player's choice. I mean, if they want to represent their heritage, then they can.
I'm just a little bit concerned, Cody, that if a heap of big name players keep pulling out, then by the time we get to kickoff, we're going to have a bunch of nobody average reserve grade players, and it's not going to look good on TV. I remember last year, there were so many big name players that pulled out. And yeah, last year's game was entertaining. I think it was like 28-24. It was played in New Zealand. It was entertaining as hell. But if we keep losing big name players because coaches at NRL level are scared they're going to get hurt, then the All-Star game is going to become a big problem. And I'm already concerned because Kalen Pong has already pulled out, and we haven't even announced the squads yet to the All-Star game. He's already the first to pull out.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, if big players are going to keep doing this, they might as well not play. They might as well get rid of the All-Star game if that's the case.
I hope it doesn't come to that because if we lose the All-Star game, there's going to be a lot of people that are Indigenous and Maori, and I would not be surprised if they protest.
Yeah, and I hope this doesn't go either. And it's going to be huge protests across the country.
I think you got to keep the All-Star game, but coaches have just got to chill out a little bit. Just relax. This is why the good teams have depth. Right, if he goes down for 2 weeks, I've got someone here that can do the job, That's why it's important to have good depth. Anyway, moving on from the All-Star game, let's get into the season preview, Cody. We've got 4 teams tonight that we're going to preview for the upcoming 2024 NRL season. And we're going to start off with the team that actually won the Wooden Spoon last season. We're going to start off with the West Tigers. Let's get into the West Tigers season preview. Obviously, last season, Cody, the Tigers, well, we all know what happened last year. It was a disastrous season. They won the Wooden Spoon. Going into a new season, Cody, they obviously look a little bit better than they did last year. They've made some signings, but just quickly, what do you think about the Tigers going into a new season?
Yes, back to back wooden spooners. They have recruited good. It seems like they are ready to finally move up. I do see the Tigers improving good, but not enough to escape the bottom four. So
Yeah.
I reckon they will finish in the bottom four this year, but not as wooden spooners. I've got them coming in 16th for this year.
Now, I tell you what, Cody, it'd be absolutely horrible if the West Tigers come last again or if they finish bottom four. You know, I'm just having a look at their games and like they've bought really well. So this is who the West Tigers have signed for 2024. They've got that Faunu kid from Manly, both Faunu kids, I should say. Jaden Sullivan from the Dragons, Aiden Caesar from the Leeds Rhinos, some Solomon guy from Rugby Union, and Justin Olam has gone there as well. And who the Tigers have lost? Well, they've lost Luke Brooks, Tommy Talau, Brendan Wakeham, Dane Laurie, Sean Bloor, Tuki Simpkins, Appy Saruku, apologies if I got that wrong, and David Nofaluma. Now, they've obviously lost a lot, but I think the Tigers are they're obviously going through a rebuild stage. Benji Marshall is now the full-time head coach. He is cleaning out the Tigers. He is cleaning out the club. Do you think the likes of Aiden Caesar, Justin Olam, and Jaden Sullivan can make the Tigers go a bit better?
Yeah, I reckon they could. I mean, Aiden Caesar used to be a former NRL player himself before he went up to the
Yep,
Super League. But
correct.
it'll be a bit enough to improve the Dragons, Tigers. Sorry. And but question is, who are you going to have as your halves? Sullivan and Caesar, one
Yeah, I
Fanny
think
brother
so.
and Caesar.
I think so. So I think the West Tigers spine will probably be something like
Bula.
Buller, Sullivan, Caesar, Coruscant.
Mm.
It's a bit better. It's a bit better. It's definitely a lot better. Now, trying to work out their best 17. Now, we haven't written any of this down, so we're just going to the top of our heads. So, the West Tigers' best 17, Cody, I think it would be something like a Buller at fullback, Stafford Toa on the wings with Charlie Staines, centers. I think Adam Dewey is going to play left center, which will probably put that young center Kapoa. He might go out into the centers. Obviously, Sullivan, Caesar in the halves, Clemmer, Stefano in the front row, Coruscant at hooker, Bateman, Papali'i in the back row. Lock forward will be that Fanua Pole kid. He looked really good last year. And the bench, well, the bench will probably be, I would like to say, Alex Twal will get a spot. Yeah, Alex Twal on the bench. Alex Seyfarth on the bench. Maybe that. Maybe both of the Faunu kids. Oh, Olam. Okay, sorry. Let me refresh stuff. I forgot about Olam. So yeah, go Buller fullback, Staines and Stafford Toa on the wings, Olam and Dewey in the centers, and then you go Sullivan, Caesar halves, Clemmer, Coruscant, Stefano. I'd go Papali'i, then I'd go Kapawa back row, Bateman at lock, and then on the bench you got Fanua Pole, Twal, Safaf, and that Faunu kid. That would be my Tiger 17. I think that'd be the
Yep.
17.
Yeah, don't see any changes with that.
Yeah, probably that's probably their best 17. But where do you have the West Tigers finishing, Cody? I've actually got them coming 12th.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, I've got them in 16th.
I just feel they're going to improve. I think the players from last year are going to feel like the combination's working slowly. I think Caesar is going to be a really good game manager. I think Olam's a good little pickup as well. I don't mind Sullivan going to 5'8". I seem to have a bit of direction. As for Adam Dewey, I don't know where he fits. Maybe he's in the centers. Like Dewey and Olam are probably the best center pairing for the West Tigers going forward. So, look, they've got some options here, the Tigers, but I don't know, man. I reckon they're going to improve and avoid bottom 4.
Yeah, that's a big call. I mean, I do see him improving, like I said, but I just need to see it. I just don't
Yeah.
see it happening this year for him.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
But
Moving on
if
from
they
the
get the
West
spoon,
Tigers.
then it's going to be more disappointing.
Yeah, if I come last again, that would be disappointing. Moving on from the West Tigers, moving on to the Dragons, who have had the off-season from hell, man. Oh, the poor bastards. I've had a tough off-season. Jeez. Dramas everywhere at the Dragons. They have had one of the toughest off-seasons I've seen in a while, man. Let's have a look at who they gained and who they lost. So, couple of nice little pickups here from the Dragons. Hame Sele, obviously for Talamona, which we spoke about earlier. Kyle Flanagan, Corey Allen, who's now out for the season, sadly. Jesse Marshke, who's a 5'8" on the North Sydney Bears, and Kyle Flanagan. And, excuse me, who they've lost, obviously Jaden Sullivan, Zane Musgrove's gone to Warrington, Jaden Hunt to the Broncos, Amone's been fired, Tyrell Fuimaano's unsigned, Moga retired, and they just lost Billy Burns, who was a little underrated back rubble for the Dragons last year, but he's gone down to the arch rivals Cronulla. What do you think of their signings and losses, Cody? Do you think there's any major ones there?
Well, not really, but I think the two good ones they've got there is Vital Mariner and the other one, Hame Sele.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very good with us at the Rabbits, but he's gone.
Uh-oh. We talk about the Dragons, and the dodo bird has just hit Cody. This is why you don't talk about bottom 4 teams, folks, because stuff like this happens. Oh, there we go. You good, Cody?
Yeah.
As you were saying about Hame Sele?
Yeah, he was great with us at his time with the Bunnies, but it's good that the Dragons have got him. He'll bring a lot of experience to the back row and the front. And FMR is the other signing as well. I think they're the two best signings for the Dragons.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, but I do think Hame Sele is a very good pickup. He's a really good front rower. I reckon he might even start in the front row with Blake Laurie. I think he will start the year. I don't mind the addition of Tom Eisenhuth as well from the Storm. Eisenhuth's a very good role-playing back rower. I think the reason why he went to the Dragons was because he was promised to start. So I think Eisenhuth's a good little pickup there for the Dragons. I think he will go well. Obviously, Fatala Mariner's a good signing recently. Kyle Flanagan, Cody, That's the question mark, isn't it? Where do you play Kyle Flanagan? Does he play 5'8"? Does he play that Jersey 14 role and come on and play a bit of dummy half? What do you think they do with Kyle Flanagan?
Well, ideally, because with Amone gone from the Dragons in NRL pretty much, it would be ideal to put him in the halves. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think he'll play as a Jersey 14.
Yeah, okay. So Jesse Marshke, who come from North Sydney Bears, you reckon he'll be the 5'8"?
Yep, I reckon he'll give it a crack first.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you what. I reckon the biggest loss for the Dragons is going to be a player that isn't really that well known right now, but I reckon him going to Brisbane is going to kill it, man. I reckon the Dragons letting go of Jaden Hunt, who came off the bench for the Dragons a lot last year and played front row. I reckon he's going to be a bit of a blow, man. I thought he was good last year, showed some really good signs. Him going to the Broncos to play with Haas, Carrigan, and all them sort of players. I reckon his career's about to go to another level, man. So, Jaden Hunt, not a bad little buy for the Broncos, but I reckon it's an underrated loss for the Dragons.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, he played a lot of games off the bench and been underrated, but I think he'll do better at the Broncos.
Now, moving on to the Dragons' best 17. So, for me, Cody, this would be their best team. I know there's rumours of them putting Sloan on the wing and shit, but Lomax, this is what I would do, bro. Now, there's rumours that they're going to sign Christian Tuipulotu. Unless that happens, I don't think he'll be on the wing. I don't think, obviously he's not there yet, but if he goes there, I reckon he'll be on the wing as well. But I'd say fullback, Tyrell Sloan. Wingers, obviously, Ravalawa. And I'd go with Max Feagai as the other winger. Lomax and Sully in the centres. Flanagan at 6, Hunt at 7. Laurie and Sele in the front row. Little at hooker. The back row, I'd go with Jaden Sewer and Dan Russell. I'd go, Jaden Sewer and Tom Eisenhuth, sorry. Jack DeBellin at lock forward. Bench, I'd go Jack Bird, Francis Mollo, Raymond Fatala Mariner, and what's that, guys? What's that back row I just mentioned?
Couchman?
Hmm?
Couchman?
No, not Couchman. Dan Russell. He'll be on the bench. I think Couchman might miss out. I don't know. I mean, the Dragons have got options for the bench. Even someone like Ben Murdoch-Masila, who I'm a massive fan of. He won't even be in the team by the looks of it.
Yep, wow.
I know everyone's bagging the Dragons and everyone thinks they're going to come last and go shithouse, but the one thing that the Dragons do have is they have some decent depth in the back row. Like you got Sewer, Eisenhuth, Bird, Couchman, Dan Russell, Murdoch-Masila. Like they've got some decent depth in the back row. I'll give them that. Where do you have the Dragons finishing this year, bro? Where will they come for you?
Wooden spoon.
You reckon they'll come last?
Yeah, I mean, with all the drama off the season, I mean, it's the second year in a row they've had dramas like this. I mean, it's got to happen.
Well, I've actually got him second last. I've got him in 16th at the moment. I think they'll be second last on the ladder. Not expecting a whole lot from the Dragons. Hopefully they go better than that. But Cody, I want to say this quickly before we move on to the next team. The Dragons may be bottom 4 this season, but I am predicting that in 2025 they won't be bottom 4. They'll be improving. Next year will be a better year for them, I reckon.
Yeah, all right. Good call.
We'll see what happens. Moving on from the Red V, We're going to head out to Canterbury Bankstown. Let's get into the Bulldogs. Now, if you've missed it, you must be living under a rock or something. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs have bought so many fucking players. It's quite insane. They've also let go of a lot. But let's get into the Bulldogs, shall we?
Yep.
They have gained Bronson Sherry, Stephen Crichton, Jamin Salmon, Josh Curran, Kurt Mann, Jake Turpin, Drew Hutchison, Posa Fasul Malawi, and Connor Tracy. And they've lost Jake Avarillo, Corey Waddell, Kyle Flanagan, Tyler Mariner, Paul Alamotti, Tavita Pangai Jr., Braden Burns, Declan Casey, Jaden Ockenball, and Luke Thompson.
That's a lot of players.
Goodness me. And obviously Blake Taft they signed as well. Now, out of all their signings, Cody, Tracy, Turpin, Hutchison, Mann, Curran, Taft, Salmon, Crichton, Sherry, who do you think's their best pickup?
Yeah, it is interesting, but I've obviously got to go Stephen Crichton.
Yeah, Crichton for sure. Stephen Crichton, bro. Great signing for the Bulldogs, you reckon?
Yep, and hopefully he'll be one of the players to turn around this side after or the hype they had last year, and it turned out to be a fail.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. Anyway, let's try and get to the Bulldogs' best 17 now. It's going to be tough because they've bought a lot of players, but
a lot of utilities too.
They've got a lot of versatile players. They don't seem to have many front rowers, so I'm trying to do my best here with the Bulldogs' best 17, right? So, fullback is obviously the tough one. Fullback, I'm going to go with Blake Taft. On the wings, I'm going to go with Josh Adokar and Bronson Sherry on the other wing. In the centers, Stephen Crichton and Connor Tracy. They're my centre pairing. And Matt Burton at 5'8", halfback, Toby Sexton. Front row would be Max King and Liam Knight. Reid Marnie at hooker. Second row, Viliami Kikau and Jacob Preston. Lock, I'd go with Josh Curran. The bench, I'd go with Kurt Mann, Posa Fasul Malawi, Ryan Sutton when he comes back from injury. And the last player I would have on the Bulldogs bench would be probably Jamin Salmon.
Yep, not bad.
Now, it isn't as bad as it's a decent team, but the problem with the Bulldogs, Cody, is they don't seem to have any great front rowers. They lack props.
Yes, they do.
Do you think the Bulldogs improved this year? I don't know, man. What's your take on them?
Yeah, I believe the Dogs will do a bit better, but not really much. I mean, it's quite hard to say which player is going to play where, especially with the amount of utilities you got everywhere. And the props, they're not strong enough, but the back row, it's great on paper.
Yeah, it's a good back row. Kikau, Preston, Curran. It's a really good back row. But it's the same as the back line, bro. Like, their back line has so many points in them, but it's just their front rowers, bro. They need some props. Like, let me say this. If the Bulldogs had a guy like David Clemmer or a Totola, someone like that or Moses Leota, the Bulldogs would be close to my top 8. But they just don't have any front rowers. And the halfback position, obviously, it's going to come down between Toby Sexton and Drew Hutchison. But they just don't have any props, bro. That's
And
my concern.
how are you going to defend if you don't have decent props?
Yeah, it's a tough one, bro. It's a really tough one. Anyway, where do you have Canterbury finishing on your ladder?
On the very edge of the top bottom 4, 14th.
I've got them 14th as well. I don't really see them improving until they get some more middle forwards.
Yeah, so
they need some middles. They really do. Moving on to the Gold Coast Titans, the final team of part 1 of the season previews. The Gold Coast Titans, let's get on to them. Who they have signed, who they've lost. So they haven't lost a whole lot. It's a pretty similar team to last season. They've lost Cruz Leeming, who's obviously headed over back to the Super League. They've picked up, obviously, Des Hasler as the brand new head coach. They've picked up Holly Smith-Shields from the Canberra Raiders. He's a centre winger, can play both positions. And I've also picked up Keenan Palacia from the Brisbane Broncos, which I think is a low-key, decent pickup for the Gold Coast. Now, let's try and put together the Gold Coast best 1 to 17. This is another one where it's like they've got some options, but they've also got some headaches. Now, before I go through the Titans' best 17, Cody, do you think AJ Brimson should play in the centres?
Well, yes, I think they should. I mean, if you want to have 2 key fullbacks in your 1 to 13, obviously you got to put them in a different spot instead of a bench. So I think they should go Campbell at fullback and AJ on one of the centre spots.
See, I'm sort of on the fence with AJ Brimson. I'm not sure whether he should play 5'8", put 4 in the halfback, move Tanner Boyd back to the bench, or put Brimson at centre. That way you fit Foran and Boyd in there, because we all know how good of a goal kicker Tanner Boyd is. I just don't know. Like, the Gold Coast is such a... They've got some interesting options here, but I'll tell you what, I'd have Brimson at 5'8". That's just me. All right. I'll give you my best Titan 17, Cody. Jaden Campbell at fullback. On the wings, Khan Pereira. And I'd go with Philip Sami on the other wing. Centers, Brian Kelly and Jojo Fafita as the other center. Brimson at 6. Foran at 7. Fodawaker in the front row with Tino Fasul Malawi. Obviously, the dummy half will be... What's his name? He got injured last.
Sam Verrills.
Yeah, Sam Verrills at hooker. I forgot about him because he got injured. Sam Verrills at hooker. Back row for Feeder and Bo Thermal back from his ACL injury. Lock forward. I would actually start Aaron Clark at 13, Cody. And on the bench, I'd go Tanner Boyd, Isaac Liu, Jamin Jolliffe, and Cleese Haas on the bench as well.
Yep.
What do you think about that team?
Yeah, I think it could get the job done, but...
Oh, no, sorry. I forgot. Cleese Haas out, Keenan Palacia on the bench. Forgot about him.
Yeah, that looks like an okay squad to start with.
What do you think they're lacking?
I think they're just lacking on the bench.
The bench?
Yeah.
I disagree. I reckon their bench is great. I reckon they've got a very good bench. I reckon they've got a very good forward pack. You know what I reckon they're lacking? I reckon they're lacking another good center. Like Brian Kelly's a freak, but they need someone to help him. But they need another outside back in the centers. They need another really good half. And if they can get them, if they can get them two, they'll be good. They'll be a lot better. I'll tell you this, Cody. I've got the Gold Coast coming 11th this season. But I'll tell you this, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this.
Oh, boy.
I would not be surprised if they made the top 8.
Wow.
I would not be surprised. Their team is definitely improving. They've definitely got a great forward pack. The only thing they're missing is an elite half and another center. Their forward pack is as good as anyone's. Like their forward pack is quality, man.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Yeah, very decent forward pack, very solid bench. They're probably missing a good dummy half as well. Like, don't get me wrong, Verrills is good, but they can probably do better than that. If the Gold Coast Titans had a Jerome Hughes at halfback and maybe a center like a Tony Staggs and maybe a dummy half like a Blake Brayley or Phoenix Crossland, then they would be a top 8 team. But I mean, they're just missing a few pieces still, but they're definitely not far away.
Yeah.
They're not far away. Where do you have the Gold Coast finishing this season, Cody?
Well, just a few spots below 11th, 13th.
13th. All right, I've got them 11th. Expecting them to go a lot better this season. Do you think Des Hasler's the right coach for them?
I mean, it's pretty much the Titans' best coach they've had since they've been around. I mean, Des Hasler is a premiership winning coach with Manly. Took the Bulldogs to 2 grand finals, which they both lost to Melbourne and Bunnies. But I think he's going to be a good coach to start off with, and we'll see how they go under Des Hasler.
Yeah, I think John Cartwright was easily their best coach I ever had, but I think Des can do okay. I don't think Des Hasler's the man for the job. I think they can do better, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Gold Coast, they should go a bit better this season.
Yeah.
Moving on to the game show, Cody. Let's get into the game show, shall we? What is the series now? What is it? Is it 7 my way? What is it? 7?
Yep. 7-4 your way. You won last week.
7-4 my way in the series. If you guys are not familiar with the game show, whatever you do, like obviously it's me versus Cody 1-on-1. Don't reveal the answers to the questions in the live chat. Obviously, we don't want any spoilers to the questions. But Cody, you will be going first. I'll be asking you some questions. Obviously, see how many you can get. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's begin. Cody,
Right.
in round 6 of the NRL, who do the Canberra Raiders play in Canberra that weekend? Do they play the Warriors or do they play the Titans that weekend?
Jeez. I probably have to say Titans.
Correct. It's a good start.
Didn't think it'd be the Warriors that early.
Now, Cody, to make things a bit more fair this week, when I ask you a question, it'll be one or the other. So every question I give you will be a 50-50. It'll be either yes or no. There's not going to be 3 or 4 different answers. So obviously you'll do the same to me. I'll ask you who plays who, and I'll give you a 50-50, and you let me know. So
Right.
makes it,
Yep.
makes it a bit easier.
Yep. And more fair.
More fair as well. All right, next one. In round 20, Cody, round 20, who do the Panthers play on a Sunday afternoon at Penrith? Do they play Manly or do they play the Dolphins?
Manly.
Dolphins. It's one of the few times the Dolphins actually play in Sydney.
Yeah, I should play more in Sydney.
Yeah, tell me about it. Righto. Moving on to round number 12. Cody, in round 12, who do the Newcastle Knights play? Actually, no, not Newcastle Knights. Sorry, fuck me dead. Who do the Cronulla Sharks play that weekend in Cronulla? Is it the Roosters or the Panthers?
Roosters.
Penrith, mate.
Damn.
Penrith. 1 out of 3. Next one. Cody. In round 23, who do the Gold Coast Titans play at Seabus that night? Do they play the Eels or the Sharks?
Well, they do play our Coast Harbour first. I'll have to go Sharks.
Yep, you are correct. They do play the Sharks. Not bad. 2 out of 4. If you get 3, that'll be the same one you got last week, I believe. I think you got 3 last week.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Cody, in round 26, who do the Bulldogs play at Accor Stadium that weekend? Do they play the Dragons or do they play the Seagulls?
Manly.
Yeah, Manly it is. All right, well done. 3 out of 5. Not bad. Same score as last week. I need 4 to win or I need 3 to level for golden point. 3 out of 5 is not bad. All right, Cody, let me just put my phone upside down. Can't see it. It's on silent mode. Over to you.
All right. Are you ready, Nick?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Question 1. Dragons play Manly in round 4. What time slot do they play that week? Is it the Thursday 7:50 game, Saturday 5:30, or Sunday 2 p.m.?
5:30.
Correct.
Yes. Remember, Cody, make sure the
Yep.
questions are 50-50. Like,
Sorry, I forgot.
yeah. Just making it fair. All right, next one.
All right. Manly play Raiders in round 9. Do they play at what time slot? Do they play the Sunday 2 p.m. or Friday 6 p.m.?
I think it's the Sunday one. I'll go Sunday.
Incorrect. It's the Friday 6 p.m.
Fuck me. Who would schedule Manly at 6 p.m. on a Friday? Good luck getting there.
Yep.
Bastards. All right, next one.
All right. Your favorite kind of question. In round 20, the Sharks and Eels have a bye in that round. Who is the third and final team to have a bye in round 20? Is it the Dolphins or the Dragons?
No idea. Dolphins.
Incorrect. Dragons.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, that's shit. Next one.
All right. In round 14, who do the Storm play? Is it the Knights or is it Manly?
Knights.
Correct.
Beautiful. Now, you know what this means, don't you?
Golden point. If
If
you
I
get
get this
one.
right, we go to extra time. If I get it wrong, you win.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. In round 23, who do the Dolphins play? Do they play the Warriors or do they play the Bulldogs?
Jesus Christ. I don't know. Warriors or Bulldogs, is it?
Yep.
It's going to be a guess. I'm going to say the Bulldogs.
Wrong. It's the Warriors.
Fuck's sake.
Finally,
Cody wins.
7-5.
Cody wins 3 out of 5. I got 2 out of 5. That was a shocker from myself. That was a shocker. All right, Cody. Well, that's going to wrap up the podcast for another night. Very good show tonight. I'm glad we got through the season previews. And look at that. 51 minutes. Not bad for a couple of guys that love to talk footy. Pretty good.
Yep. Not too bad. Well, great show tonight as always. They'll bring it on bigger and better next week.
Next week will be good. We'll get the part 2 season previews and whatnot. Anyway, we're out of here. It's getting dark in my room. I might go and have some dinner now. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. And see you next week.